Hi, this is Shafqat Amanat Ali, and you're watching Sachin Syal.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ochakde Show. We're Silicon Valley's first business and media podcast for teens, hosted by a teen. I'm Sachin Syal, and I'm a 16-year-old award-winning entrepreneur, and I'm a podcaster from the Bay Area. And I interview remarkable and influential people from all walks of life so we can learn from their stories and level up and improve ourselves. Um, I'm also the co-founder and CEO of 3doshas.com, and it's a lifestyle coaching company. We try to transform lives through coaching principles inspired by yoga and Ayurveda. And also my brother, Sujay, is back on another episode co-hosting. Off to you, Sujay.
Hey everyone, I'm Sujay. I'm a college student and I'm another co-founder of the Doshas as well. I have a huge passion for South Asian music. I enjoy singing and I recently started learning tabla. And so I'm super excited for this interview and can't wait to get started, Sachin. Off to you.
Awesome. So you guys can already see him. That is Shafqat Amanat Ali, a world-renowned and legendary Pakistani singer, songwriter, and composer. He's a prominent playback singer in Bollywood film industry and Pakistani television industry, and he's an expert in classical music. He's a singer behind many super hit Bollywood songs like Mitwa and Dildaara that I've listened to many times since I was a kid. So Shafqat, welcome. How are you? We're super excited. Like, what's new and exciting? And yeah, let us know how you're doing.
I'm doing great, and thank you very much for having me on the show.
Great. So, I mean, we'd love to just start and talk about your new song on Sufi Score that's doing really well. It's gotten millions of views in just a couple of weeks with the song with the Bida Parveen. How was that experience? I really enjoyed your singing, and it would be great if you can explain the meaning behind the song for teenagers in the US.
Uh, to begin with, my experience with working and singing along with Abdaji has been like it's almost like a dream come true because I had been following her and I always loved her as a singer, as a human being, as a very down to earth person. She's so down to earth that at times um, you feel embarrassed when you meet her because she bows down and she touches your feet, your knees, and she pays every possible highest kind of respect for you being there, and you've gone to meet her, and so I had always been in love with her because of her, you know, the mannerism, her singing, her choice of her poetry, the compositions she has done so far. So it was like a dream come true. But when she approached me and she said that she wants me to do this song with her, of course, I said yes, the first thing. And then she started sending me different compositions. And but this one, when I heard for the first time, I was glued to it. And then I realized that I won't um let it go. So I just told her that this is the composition we should do. Now we come to the poetry. It's by Bedam Shawasi. He was in early um, 90s, late 18s, 1800 and 1900, somewhere between that. The poetry says that the person is saying that the God is so powerful that only he can fix his sins or his mistakes by doing them, doing the wonders around it. So he's saying that अगर काबा का रुख भी जानबे में खाना हो जाए, the sins I do when I am high on anything, money, pride, um, you know, any other things that I'm high on, please fix them by forgiving me and fixing and keeping and turning everything around. So this is in a nutshell. And then every stanza has a different meaning. And whoever wants to know what that stanza means, they can request for it and we'll explain it.
That's amazing. Yeah, I know Abida from Coke Studio. I've heard her a lot of different songs of her, and I just really enjoyed the song. And it was filmed really well. And thanks for explaining that. I just think, I mean, we're gonna talk about more questions based on like how you have to put emotions into like your singing and like tell a story. But my brother has a question, so I'm gonna give it off to him.
Please.
Thank you, Sachin. So, Shafqat, you've been singing your entire life. Music has been a part of your entire life since you were a very young child. And I think some people in the audience might know of this, but for those who don't, I'll say it anyways. You're part of the Patiala Gharana, which is a musical legacy that goes back many, many, many generations. And so I would assume from a young age, you had a lot of elders and gurus who were constantly working on you with your music. So, can you tell us what it was like growing up as a young child? What was your first exposure to music? Um, and what was the day in your life growing up learning music?
Well, I think I would consider it a blessing that I was born in a family where everybody else was a singer, and not only a singer, but a super duper hit singer of his times. When I was born, and my first exposure was me sitting in front of my grandfather, and he's teaching me this morning raga. It's called Gajri Todi. Some people call it Gujri Todi, some call it Gajri Todi. So, and he's teaching me a bandish, and that was my first thing that I remember as a child. And I remember that the moment I heard it, something shook inside me because it played a very positive role. It made me fall in love with the music and the notes formation of that early morning rag. We when we listen to some rag, which is known to be from the early morning time. I hope you guys know that the rags have been, kind of given times that this rag will be sung during the morning hours only. This rag will be sung during afternoon or noon or evening or night. So every morning rag, when we hear it, honestly speaking, if you I won't speak for everyone else, but if you put me in a barrel and you say it's morning outside, but if it's middle of the night and you play that rag, it will make me believe that it's morning outside. It's like that. So I fell in love with that rag, the Gujri Todi, and he had kind of, um, started this and then kept on giving us lessons, and we kept on practicing them. And then there was no looking back. Then I wanted to be a singer right from that moment onward. And I would listen to the stories of my elders, of my ancestors, that they were this popular. People loved him for his singing, and people respected him for his singing or for what he did. And the more we'll hear that story, the more we'll get into, doing hard work to reach there where my elders were. And that's how I slowly became a singer.
That's an amazing, amazing journey. And I think it's awesome that it actually started with your grandfather. I think so. This is something that's like intergenerational. It's in your blood, and it also, I mean, as you said, all the different ragas you're singing are essentially a part of your daily schedule. Like if you hear a rag, you feel like it's a certain time of the day. That's almost like
Yeah,
an entire, it's a lifestyle, I feel like, honestly.
it transports you, it transcends you, it takes you there, whatever the time of the rag is. And of course, to me, it is there are many things which are attached to those rags, some memories. So everything, every rag has a nostalgic impact on me.
Exactly. And I feel like it's a lifelong journey for you. You're gonna there's no real end to Hindustani classical. You always keep learning more rags. There's always more improvisation and work to do. But yes, I'll pass it on to Sachin.
Yeah, so I think it's really interesting and really good how if you have family members that are also singers, it gives you that motivation to say, hey, like if they're teaching me and they're able to make it in this industry, I could do the same. And then you learn from them and you keep doing more projects. Then you get into the Bollywood industry, then you do concerts, and all that happened till today. I mean, you're here on this show because you've done so many incredible things. I want to ask you what I went back to the first question about like when you sing, I think when a lot of people sing, they just sing to say the lyrics and they think the music is cool. But for like professional, legendary singers like yourself, you have to have, well, in my opinion, you have to have emotions and like a story to convey so the listener also feels impacted and they can relate to what you're talking about. So when you sing, how do you get your mind into that state where like I have to do this in a way where it can resonate with people? Like what do you have to do before you sing?
I think singing with the honesty, knowing your weak links and working on them when you are practicing, and when you're on stage, you just be honest with your work, and you should love what you're doing. I think that's the key.
Mm.
Being technically strong is another thing, but being honest with your work and knowing your boundaries and your restrictions. If you are aware of those things and you love what you're doing at the same time, I think that's the key. And then people love your work back. People love back your work, but you need to be honest with your work.
Yeah. I also thought about this too. Like sometimes I feel like the singer is obviously, well, they're most likely talking about a story they had themselves, like for some American songs, and then it's a kind of a typical story. So other people that have the similar story about like maybe like a relationship or an experience, so they all relate to that type of stuff. And I think in a lot of your songs, it's pretty obvious that you're really into it and you're being honest and you have the skills that you need.
Thank you very much. Take that as a compliment.
Of course, of course. And so now I think we'll pivot a little bit into your music career, Shafqat. So a lot of people know about your journey after you started your band and you released your debut album, which is Sagar. And there's an absolute gem of a song in there, Aankhon Ke Sagar. It's one of my favorite songs, one of my all-time favorites. And and this is this thing I've noticed about a lot of musicians. A lot of people don't really look into all the work and hurdles that it took for you to get into that band earlier. A lot of people don't know that story of what happened before you started your band. And so, can you tell us about like your musical journey from like your teen years to maybe being in college and then starting Fusion, and how that sort of influenced your debut album being a super hit, essentially?
Well, there's a lot of work, hard work, in fact, that had gone into it way before I went to Karachi. I struggled in Lahore. I worked on an album, didn't work out. It never got released. It was just waste of money, like that. And since I was a student then, so it was, pretty hard-earned money that I spent into it. But then I moved, not exactly moved, but I went to Karachi and I worked with different artists there. Then I went to the studio where I worked on another album. it didn't work out again. And then I was pretty clueless and aimless. I didn't know what to do. And I was struggling in Karachi. Then I started singing jingles for different producers. And then after doing those jingles, I bumped into a label which was owned by Dr. Rafat. And I played my album to him, the second album that I'd done in Karachi, and I played it to him. He asked me to meet a few people in Karachi named Imad, and there's a friend Nadeem, and then we met. They said, "Okay, we can't release your album, this album that you have worked on, but we would like you to sing a few songs for us that we have produced." So I did those songs. I charged them, but then again, that album didn't work out. That got shelved because of a lot of issues. But while the process started of dubbing those songs, I went and met my band members, later to be my band members. They offered me that please sing a couple of songs for us. And I said, okay, why to sing a song for you guys? Let's form a band. And we did that. And then we came to studio, and we recorded our first song. That was Aankhon Ke Sagar. I won't say, don't take it in a wrong way, but I think it was hardly 20 minutes work. We just sat, composed, wrote song, and sung it. And it was done within 20 minutes. And so from my school days, from my uni days till Karachi, I think there is a span of some 16 years, 16, 17 years. And that was, those were the years of my hard work. And I struggled like anything. People normally think that people from gharanas, they shouldn't have any problem getting hit, but it's not like that. It's the other way around, in fact. When you are part of a gharana, you have tons of responsibility because people want to see you right from there where your parents or your elders had left it. So whatever mark they had set, people want you to start from there, which is, of course, it's not possible. You can raise that bar, you can mark that place a little higher, but of course, after working hard and doing the course they had done while they were learning, and they started their career and kept singing, and over the years they gained that experience. So everybody has to go through that course and then reset the bar or mark it higher. So it is really difficult. And on top, other than that, I believe that people who are from the families, musical families, they have great opposition as well. Because if a guy owns a company and he can fund your music or he can help you in any way, if he doesn't like your family style, he may not give you a chance, or he may not fund you, he may not invest anything into you. So there are different hurdles that we face being part of a musical family. And people don't see that. They don't understand. They just want you to be as picture perfect as your elders or your ancestors were.
That's very true. And I think you bring up a very good point, which is that when you come from a musical family, I'm assuming you probably have a lot of pressure and expectations for you to be a certain way, act a certain way throughout your childhood, even going into adulthood. And so you had to manage that, which I think is commendable. And on top of that, you were able to go over all these hurdles, which everybody faces, I think, in almost every sort of performing arts field. It is very, very difficult to break
It is
through. And
absolutely.
and yeah, 100%. And I'm shocked to hear that Aankhon Ke Sagar was made in 20 minutes, which is amazing because that brings me to your sort of Bollywood career. So if I watched in one of Shankar Mahadevan's interviews, I think he mentioned that he heard your song on the radio and he absolutely loved your voice texture. And so he called you in for Mitwa in 2006, if I'm correct. And
Yeah.
and I believe that was one of your first Bollywood songs, and it's become a complete trademark song in Bollywood. It's almost an iconic song featuring Shah Rukh Khan as well. And so,
Absolutely.
um, what was that transition like moving from Karachi to a completely new country into a completely new industry, the film industry? Was there anything unexpected in the film industry? Anything you had to change about your singing, composing style, anything of that sort?
No, you know, being a musician and this fraternity, honestly speaking, if you go anywhere in the world, they'll be the same. You won't really have to change anything because they have invited you for what you have done and the way they have heard you. And normally people, when they hear you, whatever they compose or design, it's according to what they have heard you in the previous song. So when I walked into the studio and heard Mitwa, I knew that it was going to be a super duper hit, and I loved the melody. I loved the environment. Shankar, Ehsan, Lloyd, and people, everyone there, they were so supportive. They were so friendly. They were so positive about everything that I didn't feel for a single minute that I was in another country. I was like just in another, um, group of friends. So that made everything easy. And on top, of course, Karan, he's again a music lover and a great human being. And Javed Akhtar Sahab, for that matter, they were all very involved in that song. They all came personally, and they took out time to come there and listen to the dub and give their comments and discuss the song and heard the song once, twice, and put in their bit. Okay, have you done this? And since Shankar is very thorough about whatever he done or does, he said, "Yeah, I've taken many takes and we sorted." And that was it. And I was out of the studio and then stayed there for like a couple of days and came back. The rest, you
Mit
know what had happened.
yeah, and Mitwa really is a beautiful melody. Honestly, if you're okay with it, I'd like to sing a couple lines for you, if we can, Sachin, if
Please
that's
do,
okay,
please do. This is
on the
I like
podcast.
this. In fact, I in
And
fact
maybe
like
and
this. And whatever requests are there, you guys will sing it for me.
okay, okay, perfect. And maybe hopefully maybe we can even hear some from you later as well, from some of your songs. If
I
you're
would skip that part, but
okay, okay.
please
Let's
go
give
ahead.
it a shot. I have morning voice, so if I'm
No problem.
a little off, that's sort of inevitable, but
You got this.
Please,
Let's
please.
go. You got this. You got it.
मेरे मन ये बता दे तू किस ओर चला है तू क्या पाया नहीं तूने क्या ढूंढ रहा है तू जो है अनकही जो है अनसुनी वो बात क्या है बता मितवा कहे धड़कने तुझसे क्या मितवा ये खुद से तो ना तू छुपा. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was really good.
Okay.
Good job.
I just had to get it out, man. It's honestly one of my favorite songs, and it inspires me every day I listen to it. So thank you so much for listening. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. It was pleasure listening to your voice.
All right, Sach.
Yeah. So, I think it's really well, this show is mostly about people's stories, and I really appreciate how you shared that you had a lot of setbacks and you were able to go through the ranks and be who you are today. I think the music industry constantly changes. So my question for you is like, what do you think, like you've been in this industry for decades, what do you think is crucial and what skills do you need to make it in the like in 2023? Because a lot of people are trying to do it. They're putting videos on YouTube, they're getting a lot of views, they want to be just like you and sing and playback songs. So what do you think is necessary and where do you see the future of this whole entertainment industry heading? Where do you think it's going?
Well, when we had taken off as a popular band, we used to have those TV channels, and we have very few in Pakistan back then. And those channels had ties with some Indian channels. So whatever gets popular in Pakistan, they would send it across to India, and they would, play it on their channels in India. And some of them had the dish antennas, then satellite channels. So it was whatever was getting popular, it would get popular indeed. It was not dependent on views, that 25 million views or 100 million views, or I've seen that some songs have reached 1 billion and past 1 billion. But honestly speaking, now when somebody says that this guy's video has crossed 10 million, and I hardly know the guy, I hardly have heard the song, and I don't realize that it has crossed 10 million or whatever million. So I think that right now the only thing that matters is we shouldn't be worried about the views and how many views are there. Whatever you have produced or done, people should see the hard work you had put behind that song, and it should be a good melody. It should be, something which you can claim later on that, yes, it was me, and I had created that song, or I had written that song, or I am the singer of that song, for that matter. But right now, what I am seeing that if people are spending, let's say, 1 million on a song, money-wise, rupees, dollars, whatever, I have heard that they put the same kind of amount aside because they have to put it later on the views and the promotion of the song. Thankfully, we didn't have to do anything of that sort when we were singing and we launched ourselves. In those days, we would just, do something with honesty, with 100% of ourselves in it, and we would release it. And then we'll leave everything to people that please listen to it and like it or not.
Yeah, I think everybody, and especially in Gen Z, including myself, for whenever they put up a YouTube video or like a podcast or a singing video, it's all about the views, because like they think views is equal to the success, because they think that, oh, if I get a good amount of views, then this person will notice me, then I'll make this amount of money. I mean, I do think a little bit of that is true, but I also agree with your point on like how you also have to be honest, and also people should appreciate how much hard work you put into it. And I didn't $1 million on promoting. I didn't know it's that much. That's a lot of money to just promote a song and do
It
all
was
the work.
just it was just a figure of speech. In fact, I didn't mean that you put $1 million
No, I know.
on the promotion of.
Yeah, I just think, yeah, I mean, a lot of people do though, like not that much type of money, but they do a lot to promote their songs. But, and you mentioned honesty 2 times. I think it's very interesting that how you bring that up. I don't think that many people talk about that. You said you have to be honest when you sing and also be honest about how much hard work you put in. And I think those are definitely for people watching and people listening. There are some things you should remember because, again, purpose of the show is to help you level up yourself. They're learning from people like his story. So, yeah, thanks for answering the question. I really appreciate it.
All right, moving on to the next question. Shafqat, I've done quite a bit of research about your musical interests, and I came across an interesting fact, which I thought, since we're speaking, I might as well bring up with you. And it's that you listened to a large variety of music, including Western music, such as I think you mentioned Michael Jackson, the Beatles, Pink Floyd, and then you would add some alaps or improvisations on these songs for fun, which I think is super cool that you were able to blend Hindustani with Western so effortlessly. And so my question is, who were your biggest musical inspirations growing up, and where did you get these ideas of, oh, I can blend Hindustani music with some Western music and add my own little touch there?
I think I'll be a fool to say that this was solely my idea to do this, because I am not the first one, and people had been doing that in the past. They've been fusing, they've been, merging different sorts of musics together from across the globe. And if I give you an example, I had seen a very old black and white movie of the late Ashok Kumarji, where it was some science fiction sort of a movie. And in that movie, I don't remember the entire movie or the one-liner of the movie right now, but I remember that there was a fusion in that film where some old Thumri, which I can't name right now because I don't remember. Maybe it was Ba Chalat. Baat chalat mori chunari rang dari re. I think this was or something like that, and they have kind of fused it with drums and some Western instruments in that movie. So saying that I have done it for the first time, I think is it's a fool thing to say. It's not something you should be claiming that you were the first one to do this. I think that if a beautiful composition makes you improvise into it, then that means that you have learned both the sides, and you can to fuse, or let me put it in this way, that if you can fuse, it means that you have worked hard on both the sides. Since I was in college and I used to hear those popular music back then, like Careless Whisper and or Billie Jean's, or that song of Madonna's, La Isla Bonita. And all these songs, they were popular then. But yes, of course, being a singer, when I used to hear those songs would make me realize that this is Fla Rag, or Fla Rag will fit into this really well. So we used to just, randomly improvise into those songs. Not always, but, when I am maybe listening it alone, or maybe listening with a friend who has the same kind of an interest in music. So we'll sit together and do that. And that's what made me slightly better on fusing music with mine is the classical music with the Western style. So I think this is where it started from those songs, the popular songs from my uni days.
That's awesome. And I think it's such a good exercise to always like look for any matches between different genres of music and adding your own touch. Because I think one
Absolutely.
thing is being like a singer, and then one thing is an artist. And you happen to be both of them because you're a great composer. You've composed amazing songs like Mora Saya, beautiful, beautiful classical songs, and you can also sing. And so I do think, I don't know.
Let me be clear. The Mora Sanya is a Thumri
Mhm.
by my father and my uncle. And I just kind of, composed a few lines before and after.
Okay, got it, got it, got it. So I think it's a great exercise to improvise in any sort of music that you come across, and I think that does come across in your style of singing. That you worked very hard on learning how to improvise, add your own feel to the music. And I'll hand it off to Sachin now.
Of course, yeah, I agree with you. And I would love to ask if you're allowed to share them. What's some of your future projects, some future plans, anything you'd like to share with the audience?
I have 3, 4 videos ready. Um, from one is an old song from a movie
Mhm.
by a great composer, Robin Ghosh. He was a Pakistani film music producer, and he has created some great music. So it's one of those songs. And other than that, I have composed a Punjabi, and the video is ready, but I am just working on the mix again because I am a little concerned about the mix because I heard that mix at different places on the phone, on TV, on in the car. So it's sounding little here and there, and I'll just go and speak to the guy again and get it remixed, and then I think there'd be some 3 videos we'll be releasing really soon.
I follow you on all your social media, so I'm sure I'm gonna be one of the first people to see, and then I'll share it with my audiences as well after this interview is out. Okay, so these are the last 2 questions that I asked all my guests. The first one is, what's your best advice for teens?
My best advice, I probably wouldn't like to ruin whatever you're doing, um, because everybody has a different environment and different situations. But the best thing that can take you places is your honesty with whatever you're doing. You should know what you're doing. Take on healthy criticism and not criticism just for the heck of it. And but if it's healthy, then you should. That's my advice.
That's great advice. And last question of the day is, what was your favorite part of being on this show?
And you froze again. I got to speak about my struggle days, and that brought back a lot of memories, and I felt nostalgic thinking about those days, discussing those days. So yeah, it was a good part.
Awesome. Well, that's the end for today. Thanks so much for coming on the show. And guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.